Well, the National Petroleum Authority has announced a review of prices of petroleum products starting that's today, June 1, 2020. NPA, in a statement, as you might have seen, said the decision was taken by Cabinet and communicated to the National Petroleum Authority through the Ministry of Energy. Now, the question on the minds of many of you, consumers of petroleum products, is what has necessitated this increase in petroleum prices, especially in the face of the price of crude oil on the world market, which is about $37 thereabout as we speak. We'll get into it and find out whether it's indeed justified for where we are right now. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, has been speaking about this. There was an attempt to actually have this boss margin increased some time ago. They kicked against it. What's their position on it now? We'll get into it. Also, the GCNet and its operations rounded up by Friday, that's last Friday. Today, UCOMS, that's the more improved version, from what we understand, of Unipass, took effect from today at the various ports of entry across the country. My colleague Josephine J was at the Tema Harbour to gauge the mood there on day one of the implementation of UCOMS. Stay with us, we'll get into it as well here on Business Focus. I am Alfred Okanse. Welcome. Let's get into the summaries of the stories that make headlines over the last few hours and then also the whole of today. So welcome back. Our big conversation tonight on Business Focus is the bust margin as communicated by the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, over the weekend, which was supposed to take effect today. Now, my colleague Joseph Armstrong visited some of the fuel stations across, especially the capital. The increase has not taken effect as yet, even though the communication was that due to the bust margin being increased, in the case of petrol by about 3 pesos, all things being equal, the prices of petrol at the pumps should have gone up by between maybe 3-5 pesos thereabout. That's according to the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC. They predicted a 5 to 8 pesos increase, 5 to 8 pesos increase of prices of petroleum products at the ports. Let me know if you've experienced any increases yet. I think that'll be good. And get to know. We're live and interactive on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279 all across the world, as well on 3news.com. Duncan Amoah is the Executive Director of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC. He joins me in the studio for a conversation on this. Duncan, it's good to have you. Good evening to you.
Thank you, Alfred. Good to be here.
Now, I'm going to have the release from the National Petroleum Authority shown on the screen so that our viewers can follow what we're talking about. But that release said that the margin increase in the boss margin and the fuel price should have taken effect today. We went around, the increase hasn't taken effect. You know why?
Well, I will be quite surprised, but again, the effect at the pumps could be any time, even now. What I knew as at the morning was that there were a lot of board meetings, boardroom wranglings. Mind you, we had put out there that we're expecting between 5 to 8% of an increase. And that was even before the NPA release came, citing the need to increase bust margins.
So what was your predicted increase based on?
Was based on one world market, international market price movements, and then again the CD dollar situation. You talk to some of the oil marketing companies and you get the understanding that they could work within the 5 and 8. Others even want higher.
So 5 and 8%.
Exactly.
Could you translate that into figures? Because the person who's watching would rather relate to the figures than the percentages.
Okay.
So now,
average pumps currently is about 4 cedis 4.10.
Yeah.
And so all things being equal, if we are to do between 5 and 8%, you are looking at 20 to 25, 30 pesos, difference.
So what that means
liter.
is that that will be 4 cedis 30 pesos per
4
liter.
cedis 30, 4 cedi 40, it could be 4, 5, it could be 4 cedi 45, Some between 20 and about 30 pesos variance. We are quite certain that the industry would also gravitate towards where gold goes. And so most are not adjusting, not because the price on the international market and the CD variation is not taking a toll. It is. But a lot are actually doing what you will call the scheme pricing. Or you wait and see what your opponent throws on the market, and then they probably would move towards that. But I am certain that if by close of day, gold prices do not come, some of the other major OMCs would still go ahead and increase because they've been complaining for the last 2 weeks.
About what?
The need for prices to go up for them. If you recall,
based on these two factors,
based on
the
these two
depreciation
factors,
of the cedi.
Yes, the second window in May had seen some increases on the international market, and most of them expected prices to have gone up, but gold decided to stay prices, and so that saw the others also staying prices, and nobody actually moved. Now, gold itself does not even look like it will be able to absorb the international market shocks, the CD losses that has been occasioned over the past 3 weeks, and then the bust margin that has also been thrown in by the NP. So if you put the three together, the only outcome you should expect at the pumps would be an increase. And that is what almost every Ghanaian is currently waiting for.
So the current prices at the pumps was when crude oil prices on the world market was around $22 thereabout. That's when it
had even dropped to 16, 17. That is crude.
Yes.
And then for finished products, it had moved from 600 per metric to about 94, 95.
Yes.
So just imagine, it had
that
really
necessitated
dropped.
the reduction at the pumps.
Yes.
But as we speak, crude oil prices on the world market, as a barrel of crude oil price is about $37. That I think the last time I checked, that was about some 10 minutes ago. I checked on Bloomberg. That's about $37. So these combined effect is what could lead to the increase. And you talked about GOIL leading the way. But we went to the GOIL filling station. The prices are still the same. So what would make the other oil marketing companies increase when GOIL stays? Which will not be competitive for them, because if gold is still remaining at 4.0 or 4 cities 10 pesos, and they go ahead and increase, people will buy from gold.
In fact, Alfred, I will be the happiest if gold decided we are going to absorb the world market shocks that they have seen. They are going to absorb the cedi dollar variation. They are also going to absorb the bust margin that has been thrown in. I will be the most happy. But it looks not feasible. And so, in order that we do not raise the expectations of Ghanaians, often than not, we need to tell them the truth as it is. I will be surprised if by close of work tomorrow, gold prices are still where they are. And then again, I've indicated, the other major traders, Total, Shell, Allied Oil, sometimes they do move when gold hasn't even moved, except that they may go a bit way higher, and when gold prices come, they all come around the same price. But I will be surprised if gold decides that this window, for the second time running, it is going to absorb the international market hits that they are taking. They are also going to absorb the cedi depreciation that they are seeing. They are also going to absorb the 3 peso bust increase that has come from the NPA. I'll be surprised.
So, apart from the cedi dollar relationship and the price of crude oil in the world market, the bust margin, which Duncan just mentioned, is what we're talking about now. See that on your screen right now, if you haven't seen that statement out yet. Petrol, the old margin was 3 pesos per liter. The new release from the National Petroleum Authority, I want that on the screen so our viewers could see it, is now 6 pesos per liter. That's a 3 peso difference. Also, diesel, the old margin was 3 pesos per liter. Now, the new margin is 6 pesos per liter. And the kerosene is 3 pesos per liter. That was the old margin, as you see right there on your screens now. And the new margin for kerosene is also 6 pesos per liter. LPG, there hasn't been any increase. Then also premix fuel, the same. MGO, that's foreign. Gasoline, that's gas oil for mines, also gone up by 3 pesos. And then that's Kero mines, also gone up by 3 pesos. That's what the National Petroleum Authority has also communicated to us. That's the details there. So this is another area where there will be a possible impact on the fuel that you buy at their fuel stations. I've been joined on the telephone by the head of corporate communications and external affairs at BOST. That's the bulk oil storage company. Malik Ejay. Malik, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. Good evening to your listeners as well.
Great. To the extent that this new margin you have communicated would influence prices at the pumps, the consumers will want to know what necessitated this increase in the bust margin.
Thank you very much. In 1993, a company called BOST was established by the government of Ghana to keep strategic stocks of fuel products for the nation, so that if there is a hike in world prices at any point in time, what the company would store would serve as our cushion against the full ramifications of increasing prices in fuel products. Tanks which could store about 6 weeks of our fuel supplies were built. Out of the 51 tanks that were built at the time, a special levy was instituted in the price board, which is the bust margin for the maintenance of these tanks. As I speak to you, 15 out of these 51 tanks have gone bad, requiring serious works to bring them up to speed. Pipelines were linking some of these tanks, and some of them are non-operational as we speak. You go to the Pungtang farm, you see some of the tanks rusting away. The amount which was actually allocated for the maintenance in the form of the bust margin was adjusted to 3 pesos per liter in as far back as 2011, which is 9 years ago. Judging by inflation and depreciation of the cedi, the value that could be obtained from the bust margin at 3 pesos had actually become so little that it is incapable of funding the maintenance works which were required to keep the tanks in shape and to secure the strategic fuel storage of the nation. There was every need to protect the taxpayer from a possible borrowing of $450 million to build tank farms, as against paying 3 pesos per liter of product consumed, such that we guard this positive heritage for the unborn generation, such that they wouldn't need to spend in excess of what is required to ensure our strategic fuel stocks are kept safe and to keep the nation on track. In the event of any eventualities in the world market, fuel products could not be bought on a daily basis, as we know the system to be running.
Okay, so out of the 51, you say 15 are down. They need maintenance. Yes. Living 36. So out of the 36, how many are operational?
All the 36 are operational and are working as we speak. But you know very well that when the tanks were built, when we could pride ourselves of having 6 weeks of storage, the population then, as of 1993, is not the same as the population today. The demand for petroleum products increases as population goes up. And given that the demand has increased, we cannot even boast of the capacity as being 6 weeks installed. What we should be looking at is the possibility of being able to raise further funds to expand this capacity so that we could increase the length of time of storage from the 6 weeks to about 12, which is actually the original mandate of BOST.
So,
have accounted for the inability of the company to move this far. But with the new strategy which has been implemented under the current management, we look forward to being able to bring back the 15 tanks into operation and expand the tankerage so that we would have adequate fuel storage for now and the future.
You conceded that several factors have led to where BOST is, the inefficiency of BOST. Why you've been charging this margin at 3 pesos for only God knows how long? Why are you increasing it to let us, we, the consumers, pay for your inefficiencies? Why?
BOST belongs to the person you are calling the consumer. When things are done right and BOST makes a profit, it goes back to that very person we are calling the consumer. If things are not done right and the tanks rust away, at the end of the day, because a nation cannot be run without having strategic stocks of fuel products in these modern times, the same consumer will be called upon when a government at some point in time borrows between $400 and $500 million to establish these tank farms again at the consumer's cost. Let me be frank with you and say that much water has passed down the bridge already. BOST, as you were hearing of it back in those days, is not the BOST that you know of today. This is a time of some serious levels of activity that your brothers in the media could attest to. And for a very long period of time, even financial statements were not being prepared. As we speak, everything is on point. And all we were waiting for was some little capital injection to make sure that we bring the company back on its feet and to be able to pay dividends to the state, including the consumers you are referring to who are the owners of the company. I'm very sure and certain that with the strategy that the new management of the company is implementing and the addition of these 3 pesos per liter that government Ghana has approved, we are going to see a BOST that all of us will be proud of in the years to come. Because
Malik, we hope so.
See, storage Malik, of the nation is purely secured.
That's fine. We hope so. But you see, when you make the point that financial statements were not published, no auditing done, people have to pay for those things. How far have you gone with investigations of allegations of financial malfeasance prior to this moment that you want us to pay extra to help you do what you should have done a long time ago?
Thank you very much. When it comes to issues of investigations, the mandate of BOST is the strategic storage of fuel. So whenever investigations have been conducted leading to some persons allegedly indulging in some form of malfeasance, the best job we do is to forward the reports to the ministry, who in cahoots with the Attorney General's Department decide on the fate of such issues. BOST is technically focused on the management of fuel products and the building and maintenance of infrastructure. So we are very much focused on that. that. But we have left no stone unturned in terms of making available the respective facts and evidence to the authorities to look at them and take a decision regarding that. We do not have the mandate to be punishing people for various pieces of activities done. But the brighter side of things is that as of January 2017, over $624 million of debts existed on the books of BOST. And as we speak today, management has been able to work it out of our internally generated funds, paid this debt down to $57 million. We are pretty hopeful that with this new injection, we will be able to run over these debts which were incurred after some of the bad things you are speaking of and bring BOST to the level where we would all be proud of it as an entity owned by the state.
Malik, thank you for your time. Just so you know that we have eyes on BOST. So long as we're going to be charged more, 3 pesos per liter is, no joke with the compounding effect if you are buying more liters. So we will have eyes on BOST to get answers to how far you have gone with those investigations. Because Duncan, yes, I mean, they've been charging 3 pesos. They say they need more money. We can't pay for the inefficiencies when the people who have to pay for it are working free.
Alfred, I'm so happy you tend to probably understand the industry much more. Indeed, BOST could have been much more efficiently run. But then again, you've had managers in the past who probably did their own thing. And so when we were approached by BOST, that look, we do have a genuine need. We do have a genuine case for concern. If we are able to get Ghanaians to support us, we'll be able to work hard enough to store products like we had indicated earlier. Because if you recall, just about a month ago, oil prices crashed to zero and even went into the negatives, right? Because Ghana doesn't have any plan. We couldn't store products. At the time that PLAT, the benchmark for finished products, had all dropped, we couldn't store products. So now that it's going up, we are taking price on the international market and it's affecting the trotro driver. The core idea that I understand for setting up BOST was to hold a strategic stock for all of us. At the time when prices go down or low, you get enough products to store. When it's going up, BOST steps in to release those products, just to cushion consumers and price. But over the period, that role has been relegated to the background. I do get the understanding that the new management are looking to place BOST on a new pedestal to get it, much more efficiently run, to get it to profitable ways. And so, like you said, we have been told per this document, some engagements we had with BOST, that if they got some additional injection, they will be able to, do a lot more, change their turnaround time, right? How long it takes a truck to get in there, how long it takes the truck to leave, how long to even put products, the throughput arrangements. So they could be more efficient. In becoming more efficient, me as a consumer will be interested in what would it take off my pricing if BOST is efficiently run. There's another part of the price build that you call PDM. That takes care of transportation or movement of products between cities or towns. And so if BOST is efficient and pipelines are working, right, the barges are working, then we may get to a point where PDM and even the UPPF, that allows the trucks to move products from one region to the other, they probably would get to a point where they will be reducing. And so if BOST does exactly what it says it will be able to do per this document, Alfred, Ghanaians should be in a better place in 6 months and 1 year. But if it becomes another revenue stream, right, where inefficient decisions, like we saw in the past, somebody decided 5 million liters that I could have cleaned up, I'm just going to throw it on the market and go don't come me with it. If those kind of decisions emanate from the current management, I am promising Ghanaians that we would not sleep with them. We would probably sleep on the same bed with them because Ghanaians are willing to pay more so that we see some productivity. But if we are going to pay more only to become a revenue stream, that will not be tolerated.
If we're paying more now and there's effective management, and indeed what Malik just told me is done, it will eventually inure to our benefit. In the
Exactly.
long
Over
run.
time. Over
Maybe
time.
6 months, a year, we will endure the.
And
the
we'll probably
hardship.
be able to reap much more benefit than even the 3 pesos that we are paying now, because if BOST is efficient, like I indicated, if you have pipeline systems that are efficient, you can flash products from here to Akosombo. Within 1 hour, you can move so much, right? As opposed to just dropping them into BRVs and onto the road. The cost of road infrastructure is high because these trucks are also using the road with your saloon cars. Right, so there's a benefit, cost-benefit analysis. But if we do give them the 3, hoping that they will get more efficient and rather they open their belts loose, I'm quite certain that Alfred will all join hands and then possibly move in there.
Quickly, what accountability measures did you put in place after this engagement with them? That look, you are charging Ghanaians additional 3 pesos per liter. CSOs, what are you going to do? Like yourself, you are protecting consumers of petroleum products. How are you going to police BOST to ensure that they use the money that we are going to pay for what they said they will do?
You see, Alfred, the new management under Edwin Provincial gave us some assurances and confidence. If you look at the energy that he comes to the table with, you get every confidence that this is a young person who knows what he's about. Again, he set out to do specific projects with timelines, right? Look at the value gap that currently exists. Even the turnaround time for them is about 1 hour, 45 minutes. His target is to reduce it to 30 minutes, right?
Within which period?
If he got enough revenue, probably within 6 months, a year, right? He should be able to also get asset optimization from current usage of 17.7 to about 70%, right? Those are his targets, and these are in black and white, right? So once he gives you these indicators, Alfred, it wouldn't take probably whatever science, right, to be able to hold Edwin to this and say, Edwin, you had promised to get aggressively grow business. How are you doing this probably 5-6 months after giving you additional funding? Is it business as usual? If it is business as usual, I'm sure that Ghanaians will call for the revocation of those additional monies and even the 3 that they are already enjoying. So we believe that this is a trust situation. We will bite the bullet with the hope that the management at BOST currently would at least sit up. And then we will see a different BOST from what used to pertain previously, like I indicated, where anything goes. This new management is telling us something different, and I'm sure that Ghanaians will repose some confidence in them and hope that they will come back to tell us much better stories than we
Hopefully, we want to hear better stories if we are paying the price for those better stories to be told. So, yes, if you're not aware, you will be paying 3 pesos extra on every liter of petrol, and the truck driver certainly will find a way of passing it on to you. Diesel, 3 pesos extra, kerosene as well, 3 pesos extra. We hope that BOST will do what it has said it will do to enable to all of us our benefit. Duncan Amoah, Executive Director of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, he has promised to protect us, the consumers, our interest, and I'm going to hold you on to that. Duncan, thank
Alfred,
you so much.
we've done so over if you recall, this tax was introduced in January.
Ago,
we kicked against
it now.
But now they've given you a justification why if you give them money, they will be more efficient. Let's hold them to that confidence.
Thank you so much for making the time to be with us in the studio. I'm going to go for this quick break. When I come back, we would get into the ports and then also gold prices. UCOMS took effect today. You want to know day 1 of GCNet going away and the new system being in place. We'll be back shortly. Well, welcome back to Business Focus here on TV3. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV, channel 279 all across the world on 3news.com. If you've been following what's been happening, the back and forth, the ding-dong affair at the ports, Unipass, then back to GCNet, then now to UCOMS. Take a look at this. Effective today, all transactions related to the import and export of goods at the various ports will be conducted through the one-stop service for all custom clearance procedures, dubbed Integrated Customs Management Systems, that's UCOMS. Now, this follows successful simulation and piloting of the UCOMS at Tema Port, the final port to be hooked onto the system. With the exception of Tema Port, UCOMS has been operating at all entry points across Ghana for over a month now. Well, UCOMS is a system built by Universal Pass, that's Unipass, specially tailored to Ghana's situation and provides an end-to-end supply chain solution that incorporates and consolidates existing systems currently in operation. Now, Ghana Link Services Limited, which has a 10-year contract with the government of Ghana as technical partner, contracted Kupia of Korea to deploy its electronic customs management system called Universal Pass, that's Unipass, which is now known as the Integrated Customs Management Systems, that's UCOMS. So now, that's this for Ghana Trade Facilitation. So, yes, as you might be aware, Unipass had its own challenges when it was first introduced. GCNet had to be brought back, especially at Tema Port. And now Unipass has been, for the lack of better expression, improved to have the UCOMS. Now, my colleague Josephine J was at the Tema Port today to gauge the mood on the first day of the takeover of GCNet, that's the GCNet operations by UCOMS at the Tema Port.
The Integrated Custom Management System, ICUMS, took effect at the port and at the Kotoka International Airport. Importers and freight forwarders began to throng the ICUMS centers, unable to complete the process upon accessing the new system. Few minutes after, the number grew with more forwarders demanding answers. So I just saw you rushing to the help desk. What are you going to do there?
I went there to inquire on the level of my process. But where I've reached, I'm shocked. So I went there to ask them what I should do. And they are telling me that I should go back and start the whole thing again. My container too is on demurrage. So if I go and then I couldn't complete the whole thing, then it means I have to pay another charges again. And it will be my cost. The importer won't pay.
I just came here to just try whether my TIN number with the new system that we have will work or something like that. But since morning we've came here, we've been asking questions. Nobody is willing to give us proper answers because the new one that we are using, when you put the concerning TIN number, it's not working.
So behind me is one of the help desks that has been instituted and designed by ICOM officials for the start of the program, so that freight forwarders and clearing agents will come in here with all their questions for them and their issues to be solved. But currently, as we have been here for close to an hour, we have been seeing no more than 100 of freight forwarders who have come here with issues, hoping to get help. Tension began to build up, with many of them gathering and disregarding the social distancing protocols.
But now you are the people facing the problem. I've applied for CCBR, the CCBR is in. I've applied for an exemption, GIPC exemption. Everything has been approved. I've paid for it.
Frustration sets in with more massing up. By 12 noon, the numbers increase, leading to the expression of dissatisfaction about demurrages which will accrue for importers to pay. A delegation made up of the Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Kojo Tremantin, the Commissioner of Customs, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, and the Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry arrived to inspect the system. Angry forwarders began to chant songs. The Commissioner of Customs, Colonel Retired Kojo Damwa, attempted to calm tempers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are important stakeholders in this whole business about clearing goods. We have come here to appreciate you. We know the good job you've been doing. We have given information in the past few weeks and to some extent months about the changes that were about to take place. Now, today marks a different milestone in your operations. We are aware that if you start any new thing, you are likely to have one or two challenges. So we concede that some of you genuinely have some concerns. That is why we have moved all the way from Accra to you to listen to you and then find solutions to your problems.
Josephine Nchieje, TV3.
That's my colleague Josephine Nchieje there. She is the eye at the port there. So stay with us. She's going to be updating us on a daily basis. So well, you could say today is day one. So some of these challenges can't be excused, for the lack of better expression. But there are those who also make the argument that this is not the first time Unipass has tried its hands at the operations at the ports. So they expected something better. I'm talking about the freight forwarders and other persons who do their business at the ports. So we're going to keep an eye on this and be updating you subsequently. But we'll be back shortly after this quick break. We'll be celebrating our Mover segment. To stay.
Well, the mission is still on, where we interview entrepreneurs and startup businesses across the country, where we bring you their compelling stories. And today we are here at Teshie, where kenkey is a delicacy. We are here to engage a startup business where the owners, Kafui and Gloria, are trying to bring some innovation here, because Teshie and fries, I'm trying to understand. Let's see how the business is faring even in this pandemic. Let's do this. With a capital of 5,000 cedis, Kafui and Gloria set up Tasty Fries located at Teshie in Accra. Kafui has a degree in social work and Gloria a degree in actuarial science, all from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
I've been doing cooking for the past 4 years now. I actually realized the gift for cooking way back in uni because at the time I used to have friends who come around to eat at my end, and then gradually graduated to cook for me, I'll pay you, cook for me, I'll pay you. So even after school, I was doing some small cooking and selling at church. So after service and working, my friend approached me. He was like, what if we try selling fries and chicken just in the hood, see, because he doesn't know of any spot that actually sells fries or chicken in the hood. And I was like, it's not really a bad idea, but how do we start? Like, where do we take it from? And then he proposed we could just start a small business just in front of his house.
I haven't regretted this business because from the onset we've got a lot of support from friends and family and like anyone we know. They've been purchasing the food a lot, people buy, and then sales has picked up since we started.
Tasty Fries is into French fries, yam chips, pork, chicken, fried rice, pork rice, beef rice, and jollof. Both believe social media is impacting greatly on sales.
Personally, before I used to do these t-shirts and sell. And then there was this time I made a short video and posted it on my WhatsApp status. And I realized that people were contacting me for the t-shirts. So since that day, I've taken social media as something that boosts business. So for Tasty Fries, we don't joke with our adverts at all. Every day, day in and day out, we are coming up with flyers and catchy adverts that would, trigger the minds of our customers.
I believe kenkey at a point was not a staple food for Teshie people. They used to eat something else. Someone used to eat rice, so the person fell in love with kenkey. Someone preferred banku before he fell in love with fufu. So people around here eat kenkey, but we can't be eating the same thing every time. So changing the game here in Teshie has become something we are passionate about. We want to change how they eat. We want to give them quality food, healthy food at affordable prices.
Currently, Kafui and Gloria have employed 4 people to assist with operations, but see more numbers being employed when they expand the business. I know you also have friends who are also into other startup businesses. And you saw their stuff here?
Yeah, we do.
And I want to know what exactly they are.
Okay, so we have a couple of friends. One produces yogurt, and then the other produces sobolo. And they are delicacies, I think, all over the region. So once they do it, they bring it to us, so we sell it for them, not necessarily to make profit, but just to support them and to encourage them to also do more. But they also bring, the yogurt kind of brings us a lot of customers day in, day out. So,
But you know this adage, we rise by lifting others up.
yeah. I've always believed in that adage. So once you are lifting others up, you're helping yourself too. So like I said, selling their stuff here also gives us a bigger client.
Okay. So you're thinking of expanding the place, right?
Yeah, we are.
So maybe the next time I come here, maybe it would get this whole place.
Yeah. So sure, the next visit, you see a big, tasty fried building, and then it will be bigger the next time you come. It's a promise. Yeah.
So what's cooking? Fried rice.
Okay, so I'm preparing assorted fried rice.
Wow.
This comes with beef, chicken, and then pork.
I like this.
But it depends on the combination you want. Some people don't like pork. Some prefer beef and chicken. And so we whatever you order, we deliver.
So for instance, me like this, I like my chicken hard. So if I call that, okay, I want to do assorted rice with chicken, and I tell you exactly that I need a soft chicken over it, you can still do that for me.
Yeah, like I said earlier, feedback is very important to us. So whatever the client wants, that's what we give.
What if I say I want turkey?
Well, we've kind of had those orders too, and we are planning on rewriting our menu to suit our new clients.
All right,
but
then.
tasty prices for everyone, not for specific people.
Exactly. On a good day, both can make sales of 400 cedis, whilst 200 cedis is what can be accrued on a bad day. For Kafui and Gloria, feedback is the business, and so they'll always solicit feedback from customers to meet their satisfaction. Kafui and Gloria advise the youth to have a clear vision and objective, and above all, always stay focused. Well, this is a customer waiting for his meal, and here are tasty fries. Customers have the opportunity to play video games whilst they wait for their meals, and so I just want to try my hands. Okay. So, is this your first time buying food here?
No, I've been coming here for a while.
Oh, okay. Well, we brought you the interesting story of Tasty Fries, and these are friends who've come together to do something for themselves, and I must admit they're doing an incredible job, and they are also supporting their friends who are also into other businesses like Sobolo and yogurt. And so the adage says we rise by lifting others up, and so that's what exactly we are doing here to ensure their friends are also economically viable. I'm sure you really pick some few things, and so you might also be, compelled to start something on your own. Thanks for watching. Keep watching TV3. We came to you from Teshi Gweda Estate. Have a good evening.
Well, lovely, isn't it? George actually enjoys the most on this show. Wherever he goes, he has a bite of whatever he talks about. But thank you. I mean, these are friends coming together, with a common good to promote their mutual ideas as well, and the chain effect. That's what we're promoting, partnerships. On behalf of the Reuters team, we want to say thank you so much for staying with us here on Business Focus. Remember, next week, Monday, 6 p.m., we have a date with you. Stay with us here on TV3. I am Alfred Okanse. On behalf of the rest of the team, we thank you for watching. Good evening.